Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive on this last training game, where I played the black pieces against Emperador Dorado, who played the London system against me, and we had an interesting game. And I always want to learn from these games. So d4, d5, bishop f4, it's accelerated London system. Now, I played knight f6, but I know that Dean Anand has told me that playing c5 here is a really interesting try. Now I'm just going to check with the opening book real quick because I forget what the idea is here. But there's a critical way white can play against this. Like, let's just say knight c6 and c3, knight f6. Okay, it kind of transposes into main stuff as far as I can tell. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. I think I just like playing knight f6. And after e3 in this game, I played c5, attacks the center, gain some space. Now, if they take here, I think I'll really just play e6. And I'm threatening to win back the pawn. If b4, honestly, I would probably go a5. And I mean, they can't really play this way, right? Because I win the rook, so they would have to do something else, like what? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I'll ask the engine what it wants to do. It says a takes b4. Oops. Oh, for black. It says instead of a3 to go c3. Okay. And then knight c6. Yeah, because we're going to take that. And then queen a4, pinning that knight. Interesting. And then we can play knight e4, attacking this pawn again. And then f3. Wow, and f3 encouraged. And then, oh yeah, because they're displacing the knight while it's protected by a pawn. So that's a pretty nice move. So then, and then it says e5, attacking the bishop. And then f takes. This is pretty wild. Okay, I've never seen this line before. Like, what is this? This is crazy. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, but apparently it's like kind of equal, but black's like slightly better. I always like to look at stuff. I want to at least see things like that. But, okay, in the game I went bishop f5. Now what's funny is that, you know, my main repertoire is queen b6 here. I don't know why I didn't play it. I just didn't for some reason. And if you're wondering why I don't play this here, there's actually a good reason. Because the idea is that after queen c2, we go bishop to f5. And in the event the queen takes our bishop, we take here trapping this rook. Now, they can try to trap the queen. That's one thing. But this is just an absolute blunder here because if they take and we take, there's no need to trap our queen because that is checkmate. So that is why I like to play knight c6 earlier so that the rook stops this checkmate thing. So I play knight c6 and I play bishop f5 this game, but whatever. Okay, and now so now what should we do? Because, okay, the computer is giving a miss. It annotated my game against my will. I have to say, I was trying to make it not do that. But I don't have the engine on or anything. I'm just seeing the annotations it made earlier. It's saying white had a better move here. So I kind of want to know what that move could be. And I'm wondering if it could be pawn takes c5. The reason I think it might be is because after e6 and b4, we go into all that stuff. I would play a5, but maybe they go queen e4. All that stuff is still a thing. right? So this move allows an easy trade of bishops. Maybe bishop e2 is also a better idea, or something more flexible perhaps, like knight d2, which would kind of stop this queen b6 thing, I feel. Because after queen b6, maybe I don't know, because I am still on that. Okay, so actually, if this and this, I want to use the engine now, because I really don't know. It's saying d takes c5 here. Let's just say they play bishop b2, because this is what I was looking at. Queen takes b2, and yeah, computer does like black here, because we're on this, probably. I mean, they could take here, I guess. Just go e6. Yeah, these pawns don't look so great. I mean, I like black, but black's a little... The black queen is a little weird, I must say, but okay. So engine off. Okay, in the game, bishop f5, and I'm going to take this because this is an achievement for black. I did describe that in the other video, so I just go e6, and now castle. And I think really I should focus on the latter part of this game, and maybe the middle game. So bishop d6 is probably right. Now check with the engine. Yep, top move. Okay, and it's an equal position, which is kind of what I thought. Part of the reason it is equal is that white's pawns are aimed towards the king side. White should go for a king side attack. Black's pawns are aimed at the queen side. Black should go for queen side counterplay, but the white counterplay is already, or the white attack rather, is a little bit weakened because they don't have their bishop on d3. So that light square attacking bishop is already traded off, and that's a huge accomplishment for black in these lines. That is, in my estimations, why black is already like equal here, because the attack is not going to be like so compelling anymore. But the black counterplay is also not that compelling. So it's equal, and okay, they go knight to e5, castle, knight d2, and I start my counterplay with a6. Okay, so this is actually a good moment to look at, because I want to know what's the best move. Now, I want to go b5 and b4. This is the way this is called the minority attack. And you want to get that b4 pawn break in, open the c file, and then, you know, stack your pieces on the c file and play down this. And that would be pretty sufficient queenside counterplay. And that's just a standard plan. There might be many other ideas. But that's the main one that I know. So I started with a6 because on b5, they could simply take it. And once they take it, my knight's actually attacked. Oh, worse than that. They could just take my knight. Okay, so I went a6, but I was also planning rook c8. And I am wondering if queen b6 was a move here as well. So I'm going to see what the engine wants now. Knight h5. Okay, I consider knight h5. The reason I didn't play this is because I thought they would just simply go knight or bishop e3. Yeah, and I guess probably we win a pawn on e5. But I'm nervous about this knight, though. Yeah, engine's so cold-blooded. It's like, yeah, we take the pawn. You don't have to worry about your knight. And I guess we don't. I don't see an immediate problem for this knight. And he can now he can retreat to f6, like, with no problem. So this is the best approach, to grab material like this. And I didn't even realize this because I thought bishop e3 was fine. And then I thought my knight's weird here. So if I had looked one more move, you know, I had to look one more move and be like, hey, I can take that now. So, okay, story checks out. a6 by me. So the other move that the engine gives, instead of a6, it says a6 and white is slightly better if they take on c6, which, wow, I would not have thought that this is good for white to trade here. Then it says trade here, and then it says b4 or queen g3. b4 or queen g3. Queen g3 trading queens, I'm fine with this. I mean, it says white's slightly better, but maybe b4 just stops my c5 break, and that's why I'm slightly worse. I think that's true. Yeah, it says h takes, but then it gives rook fb8. Oops. Oh, for black. Attacking that pawn. And then rook fb1. Yeah, this is equal. It's equalish. It's just equalish. Okay, so I guess my move a6. I mean, this is equalish too. So honestly, I'm gonna remove the mark. I think a6 is fine. This is the problem with analyzing with like not very strong engines, is that sometimes they annotate your game, but then if you actually analyze and let it run longer, it starts to agree with you more. So that's something to be aware of. All right, so I go rook c8 here, rook e3, and b5. Okay, now I thought b5 must be a decent move. I'm trying to get my counterplay going, right? I'm threatening b4. So the engine's saying no, but let's see if it's actually true or not. If I turn the engine off, the only other move that I was really considering here was knight e7. And the idea is to defend my king side, but also open up my c file right now for the rook. So I thought this, which I do in the game, I mean, there's also this idea, possibly. It's just that g4 might be a thing. So, yeah, so engine says knight e7. Yeah, it likes knight e7 better. It says after b5, my opponent played rook h3, which I thought was, you know, completely reasonable. But the engine says bishop g5 is a little stronger, but it's still giving white only like a tiny edge of plus 0.17. So we're not going to worry about that. So after rook h3, knight e7, engine off. Okay, now I go knight e7. Okay, whatever. I'm good with this. And it's giving knight g4 brilliant. It is? Why? I guess it's giving it a brilliant because, I don't know, this move doesn't seem brilliant to me. He's attacking the piece that is like protecting the checkmate. It's kind of, you know, any under 1,000 could see this. Pretty sure. So let me run the engine now. Yeah, it says that all black has to do is knight g6, which is what I did. So, okay, that's not a brilliant move. So you know what, I'm starting to become like a bit skeptical of these chess.com annotations because, I mean, let's put it this way, they have motive to make these annotations, you know, do that same thing I was describing before with endorphins and stuff. Like, they want to encourage you. They want to, you know, so they're making this, and maybe they just programmed it wrong. I mean, not wrong, but maybe the program still has, like, some issues. Because knight g4 is not a brilliant. Like, it doesn't win the game. Might be the best move. Like, maybe. Like, but I saw knight g6, and computer says white's a little better here. Okay, so he took here. Now it's a tricky move, right? Because if I take with the queen, I do lose my bishop. But, you know, I saw that. So I can't do that. But I had already looked at these lines where I take with the G pawn, and I'm not so upset about this. With the knight on G6, I'm actually quite okay with this. And I was really looking at playing the move F5, which would put my pawns on light squares, making my dark square bishop stronger if he stays on the board. But even if he doesn't, my queen gets open, and my knight could potentially... Well, I thought my knight would end up here. I forget why, though. Okay, so he went queen e3. Yeah, and I thought queen f4 was a good move. Is there better? I mean, what else do I do here? I thought queen f4 was like almost forced. I mean, how am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? The problem is that he's threatening queen h6, right? Like if I just play like, I was thinking rook e8. Okay, if I go rook f e8, he goes queen h6, and I try to trade queens, you know, that's checkmate. So we got to be aware of what's going on here. Like he's going to play queen h6 and queen takes h7 mate. So I thought my move was quite good. Engine says play queen f4, top move. So why don't I get an exclam for that move? It also says rook f e8 is okay, which is amazing to me. Okay, if queen h6, it says now queen f4. What? I mean, this is... Why would I calculate this? Well, I am attacking a knight, and they're going to check. And it's not mate because we gave space to the king. So the king will go to f8. The knight continues to guard h8. Wow. All right. So, and then if the queen steps here, they now have to save their knight. So let's say, I mean, the engine's giving knight b3. Yeah, the knight on f3 would be sort of restricted. Knight b3 seems ridiculous. Okay, I might play this if I was white. I don't know. It's just a move I'm saying. And then it says just go king e7. And like, this is just a game, apparently. Okay. This is why I'm not a grandmaster, I guess. Why would I play that way? I wouldn't. But the computer doesn't, it doesn't factor in how much effort the line takes. It just sees that that's also fine. So my move was fine. This queen f4 move was actually a top move. He took. So of course I take back. And in this position, I'm attacking the rook, and he goes rook to f3. Okay. Now, I think I underestimated this move because during the game, I played knight h5, and then I regret it because the problem is he has g4. But if this is a slow time control, I would definitely calculate this. I'd be like, okay, I go here and g4, knight g7, and rook takes f6. Okay, I was about to say that I would stop my calculation after rook takes f6, but I don't think that's true. And that's because the rook looks awkward on f6. And we also have this b4 idea. And so I would want to calculate what happens after b4. So after knight g7, rook takes f6 and b4. And I think this happens in the game. Then if he takes, you know, we have rook c2. That's going to attack that knight and so on and so forth. If they go here, we win the pawn back. I think I'd be sort of happy with that because the rook is attacking the pawn on b4 and our other rook is ready to actually like become very active. So I liked all this. So knight h5 I don't think is actually a mistake, but it could be. So I'm going to ask the engine now. Wow, knight h5 is the top move. Okay, but, you know, I mean, I played knight h5 not seeing g4. Okay, now I would consider myself a genius if I saw g4 and I calculated deep and then saw the position, but that is not what happened. g4, you have to know what to do against g4 because you're losing a pawn. So I got kind of lucky here, is the way I interpret that. And now I go with my counterplay b4. Now, I think this is the best move, and I want to see what the engine says. It likes it. It says knight f5. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm turning the engine off. Knight f5. What? What is this? Okay, they can't take with a rook because we take it, and that one's the exchange. But they can take with a pawn. If they take with a pawn, what is the point? What is the point of that? Please tell me. What is the point of this move? I mean, I get that this is a nice square. I just thought it wasn't available. I mean, it's a nice square because we can do things from here, but... Okay. This is hard to see. Oh my gosh, we trapped a rook. Oh my gosh. Okay, I did not see this. I did not see this at all. We literally trapped a rook with king g7. That is insane. Yeah, wow. I love chess. That's all I can say about that move. I love chess. That's amazing. That's amazing that you could play knight to f5 here. That's just amazing. Take my knight and I win the exchange. That's insane. They take here, I go here. They take here. Wow. The remaining pieces aren't so effective either. I mean, that's... I'm impressed. I went b4. Okay, let's face it. b4 is the normal move. I mean, and it's a pawn sack. So, but the engine likes it, so that's what I was hoping. Okay, it's the second best move, actually. So, yeah, knight f5, though, I did not see. I did not see this move. You know, this is what we call decoy. The knight comes to f5, the pawn takes. It's a decoy to plug the f5 square so that king g7 literally traps the rook. That's just amazing. So I went b4 in the game, and he went rook to c1. Okay, rook c1. I thought was a mistake in the game. At first I thought it was good. And then I was like, wait, that's a mistake because he pinned himself. And that is true. So I just doubled, which I thought was a good move. Wow, engine says this is a miss, but I didn't look at the moves. So let's try to see if we can find a better move. I mean, it's probably going to say knight to f5. That's my guess. No, I really think... Yeah, it's going to say knight to f5. I'm just going to check it. Yeah, it is knight f5. So, screw you, Stockfish. I hate you. I'm not going to find knight to f5, especially not with 1 minute, 20 seconds on my clock. I'm not finding that move. But that is a really cool resource. So I doubled, and I thought I'm looking kind of good here. I'm down a pawn, but I felt I have compensation, at least partial. So I'm going to say positions equal or white's a little better. And if I ask the engine, it says white's a little better. White has to go rook f3. He went knight b3. Okay. I went rook fc8. Knight c5. I thought this plan was actually quite nice. I bet you that we're supposed to sack the exchange and get it back with knight f5. I bet you this is the plan. Like, take knight f5, take and king g7. I bet you this is the plan. I'm going to try with the engine now. Wait, I was wrong. It actually wants b takes c3. Okay, I thought they go here. And then it wants knight to e8. Okay. This is very similar to what I was calculating in the actual game. And then rook f3 and king g7 here. King g7. Why king g7? Why king g7? I think we want to play knight d6, but the engine doesn't want to let the rook back in. Could be wrong. Or maybe king g7 is more about transferring our pieces over. Yeah, I'm not clear on that one, but a5 in the game is what I played, and it doesn't like it, but it doesn't like this either. Okay, we're both kind of low on time here, so I'm probably going to only look at blunders now. Knight to e8, engine approved, and knight d6. Yeah, I was very, very low on time here. I did play king g7. So whatever the reason was, I knew during the game. I'm not sure now. Actually, I want to get my king more active, and I saw that king f8 might be a blunder, because I do want to possibly try to capture on c3. So my rook is a little bit overworked. And it's also guarding the d7 square, which could allow knight d7 checks. That was part of my thought behind king g7. I don't know if that's right, but f4, I go knight d6, a4, knight c4. Okay, I'm attacking a rook. He moves it. Rook b8. Now I thought I should get my rooks active. The engine thinks I should play knight to d6 here. And I think we're going for this, or maybe we're just staying flexible. I'm not sure. This knight is kind of pinned here, kind of. I mean, I would think, what if they go here? Engine says, you just unprotected that. So you take it, yeah. So I can't do that one. So it likes rook b2, taking the open file, which makes some sense. And then it wants knight e4. I would assume this. Engine thinks this is like equal. Okay, engine back off. I don't care about the engine. King h2 in the game, and I go rook b2. Yeah, I was very worried about the fork, but I only had 30 seconds left, so at least I saw the fork, you know. That's like important. So I played this move, partially to get out of it. So I have something better though. So what do I have? Honestly, I guess I'm not sure. But rook b1 was a thought in my mind. I'm going to see what the engine wants. Yep, it wants rook b1. I mean, that is an active rook, and we avoid the fork. So, yeah, okay. So I'm just going to turn on the engine now for the rest, because I had very little time. So take here. I take the rook. Yeah, and this sack was a nice find by my opponent. No, it really was. I didn't believe it at first because I thought maybe I have this move. But then I saw that this doesn't work so well, right? Like, I mean, first of all, they can move their rook. But if they do that, I'll just take here. And it's starting to look scary for white. But what if they just take it, you know? Then here, and like, I wasn't so sure I'm in time to stop that pawn. The king's definitely not in time. If I use the king, it's game over. So it's up to the knight in this position, and I was not sure. Yeah, actually, it's definitely not possible. I'm a move too late. I need to go here but they queen. So when I saw that stuff going on, I realized I can't play rook takes knight. So I just had to take this, and now here's his idea. He forks. Okay, but I thought I was still like alive here. Like I don't have to resign just yet. Engine's gonna say that white's winning, like +3 is what I think. Okay, Engine says +2. I was close. But yeah, I did see that I would win this pawn at least. So I did that. And he traded here, which I think, oh no, that was a blunder. Yeah, I forgot. That was just a complete blunder. So yeah, knights move backwards. Sometimes even strong players don't see that there's backwards knight moves. This is a thing. Because they don't happen as often. That's why strong players don't see it. And now I'm like, okay, I have to run my A pawn, only hope. Let's see if that was true. Engine says A4. It also says King F8, which I wouldn't consider. King G8? These are all equal. These are like equal to pushing. All these moves are 1.5, which is kind of amazing. I think we're avoiding the check. And the reason I think this is important is because, as you'll see, we have winning chances if we don't trade this pawn. But this pawn's in the square of the king. So, like, for example, if I push, he can go here. Like, if I just do this. I mean, he's in time, right? So we're not queening this pawn, but we could distract the king way over here. And in that case, we're going to need one more pawn to become a queen. If we don't have another pawn that becomes a queen, then it'll probably just be a draw. So we have to preserve our h-pawn, and that's what I think these moves are aimed towards. Because this is going to come a check, and when that happens, we have to trade off our pawn. So king d3, and I'm like, okay, let's get active. I want his king to go way over there. And I want to also try to win these pawns. And my third goal is to not trade the h-pawn. But first of all, I should not lose. So I did not have much time here. So I checked, and this is a blunder. I kind of got that feeling during the game, but it's hard not to play a move that does a fork and wins one of these pawns, which are so scary. But I take, and now I think he has g6 check should draw. And that's exactly what the engine says. Yeah, that's an exclam move. It's the only move that draws. Okay, so I'm going to turn the engine off. What should I have played then? Should I go king g8? King g8? I actually think I should go king g8 or king f8. I really do think so. Yeah. And then if they try to trade off, I will play h6. And the whole idea is just to keep this pawn alive. And then I will use my knight and king to nom nom nom, eat all the pawns, and then make a queen. Or at least try to. I mean, that's how you play for a win here, I feel. So if I ask the engine, let's see. Ooh, it gave king f8, top move. But also king g8, yeah. So that really is the idea. I think I understand the position. So this is a blunder because it allows g6 check. And now you can't just move your king. He's going to take that, right? Like we go here, he takes anyway. So we just have to take. Now we only have one pawn left, and good luck protecting it. Not happening. So that means it's a draw. And if I just run the chess.com review, which is what I'll do now, I'll show you guys the graph, because why not? This is kind of a fun part of analysis. I think once you analyze the whole game on your own, you come up with a bunch of your own conclusions. Okay, now you've earned the right to look at the graph. Okay, now you finally can do that. I played like a 2000. Okay, but I don't believe it. My opponent played a little better. That I agree with. So I want to do run the mistakes. How do I do that? So I guess I can't, but so only 84.4%. isn't so good, really. But when I look at the graph, I see that this is a moment I care about, where I had a move to keep the advantage, and I did not find it. Yeah, it was this move. So doubling was wrong. Yeah, and you know, this is not so uncommon for my games. I had 1 minute left when I made my first real mistake. That's not so uncommon for me. But that means that I played this several next moves on intuition alone. It just means that I need to trust my intuition more and play faster. And learn from my mistakes after the game, I think. Because if I want to actually get results, I should play a little faster. I do think that, you know, thinking is good in general, though. Okay, and here white was, like, better. So I made 2 big mistakes here. One was this move. Yeah, I just did this out of desperation, honestly. And knight f5 was the idea. And then, okay, here, that's a mistake. Why? This is a big mistake. Because of this. Yeah, I overlooked this, but with 50 seconds on my clock. That is something I would spot if I had time on my clock. But not having time, I will not spot it. Okay, and then my opponent just blundered out of nowhere. But then he did figure out how to draw, so. All right, so I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of analysis. I think I learned something from this, which is the whole point. And I hope you did too. So I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.